Hello everyone. Welcome back to Old Charles, the channel where we dive deep into the world of rare, historical, and collectible coins from around the world. Today, we're going to talk about a very interesting coin from Australia, the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin. We'll explore its history, design, minting details, condition grading, and of course, its current value in today's market. So if you love numismatics or just enjoy learning about coins, make sure to watch this video till the end. Let's start with a little background. The 50-cent coin is one of the most iconic coins in Australian currency. It was first introduced in 1966, originally made from 80% silver. However, due to the rising cost of silver, this version was quickly withdrawn after just 1 year. In 1969, the Royal Australian Mint reintroduced the 50-cent coin, but this time in a dodecagonal shape, 12 sides, and made from copper nickel instead of silver. This new shape made it easily distinguishable from other coins in circulation, and it has remained the standard design ever since. Now, specifically in 1981, there's something special. That year, the Royal Australian Mint was under pressure to produce a large number of 50-cent coins, and so, to meet demand, production was outsourced not only to Canberra but also to two overseas mints: the Royal Mint in London, UK, and the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa, Canada. This means the 1981 50-cent coin has an interesting background because coins from that year can come from three different sources. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait was widely used across Commonwealth coins during the 1970s and 1980s. On the reverse side, we have the Australian coat of arms, which includes the kangaroo and the emu, two of the country's most recognizable national animals, along with the shield that represents the 6 states of Australia. This combination makes the coin not just a piece of money, but also a strong symbol of national identity. The 1981 50-cent coin had a very high mintage. Around 50 million coins were produced across Australia, Canada, and the UK. Because of this large number, most of these coins are not considered rare in circulation. However, coin collectors pay attention to small details, like where the coin was minted, variations in die design, and of course, the overall condition of the coin. Some coins struck in Ottawa or London can have very subtle differences compared to the Canberra Mint coins, which makes them interesting for specialists. Now, when it comes to value, condition matters a lot. A coin in circulated condition, the type you'd normally find in change, is usually only worth its face value, 50 cents in Australia. A coin in good uncirculated condition, mint state, with no wear and sharp details, can be worth more to collectors. If you have a coin that has been kept in a protective case since 1981, it may be classified as brilliant uncirculated, BU, and that's where collectors start to pay a premium. Grading terms you might hear are: so what is the value of the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin today in circulated condition? The coin is typically worth only its face value, 50 cents AUD. In better preserved circulated condition, some collectors may pay around $1 to $2 Australian dollars in uncirculated condition. Depending on the mint origin, prices range from about $5 to $10 Australian dollars, and for proof versions, which were struck in limited numbers and sold in presentation sets, values can go higher, often between $15 and $30 AUD, sometimes even more if kept in perfect condition. So while most 1981 50-cent coins you find in change are not rare, the real value is found in uncirculated or proof coins, or if you collect based on mint origins. In conclusion, the 1981 Australian 50-cent coin is not considered rare because of its large mintage, but it still carries historical significance due to its production across 3 different mints. For everyday finders, it's worth face value, but for collectors seeking high-grade or proof examples, it can definitely hold more value. So, if you have one of these coins lying around, check its condition, look for any minting details, and who knows, it might be worth more than just pocket change. The story of the Australian 50-cent coin is quite fascinating, and the year 1981 holds a unique place in its history. The 50-cent coin was first introduced in 1966, during the time Australia switched from pounds, shillings, and pence to the decimal system. The very first version of the coin was round and made of 80% silver, weighing 13.28 grams. However, Due to the rising cost of silver, the melt value of the coin quickly exceeded its face value. This made it unprofitable for the government to keep producing, so the silver round 50-cent coin was withdrawn after just 1 year of circulation. In 1969, the coin was reintroduced in a new shape, a 12-sided polygon, dodecagon, and made of copper-nickel alloy. This new design made it easily recognizable and distinct from other coins. Since then, the 50-cent coin has been a staple of Australian currency, becoming one of the largest coins in circulation, both in size and value. Now, specifically for 1981, the history gets even more interesting. That year, Australia needed an unusually high number of 50-cent coins for circulation. To meet this demand, the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra could not handle the entire production on its own. So, production was shared with 2 overseas mints, the Royal Mint in London, UK, the Royal Canadian Mint in Ottawa, Canada. This meant that in 1981, Australian 50-cent coins were struck not only at home but also abroad, making it one of the few times in history that Australia relied heavily on international. Details are crisp and untouched by circulation. These coins are worth more, generally $5 to $10 AUD, depending on demand and the mint of origin. These are coins that have been kept in perfect condition since leaving the mint, often stored in protective holders. They retain their original luster and look almost brand new, even after decades. A 1981 BU 50-cent coin can be worth around $10 to $15 AUD, sometimes more if it's part of a collector set. Proof versions were specially struck for collectors with a mirror-like finish and much sharper detail. These were not intended for circulation and were often sold in presentation cases by the Royal Australian Mint. A proof 1981 50-cent coin is much rarer and can sell for $20 to $30 AUD, sometimes more if it remains sealed in its original case. The vast majority of 1981 50-cent coins are only worth face value if they've been circulated. The real collectible and investment value is found in uncirculated or proof coins, or coins that show no signs of wear.